See if I can edit the actual page. Funny thing is, it doesn't show me my own stream in YouTube when I go to the page right away. Your channel, live stream. Let's see if I can edit it. You might hear an echo. Edit video. Okay.
I found some source. To own it.
That's cool. Are they expensive or cheap?
11 Australian dollars, so it's not that bad.
Okay. Done. Save. So this time they might see commercials when they first enter the page. If it saves. Looks like it's saved. And the description is okay. So I'm gonna ignore that now. So we might make 18 cents.
Cool.
Yeah, I've never actually turned it on during the stream, so this is gonna be something new. Let's see if there's anybody in there. So we got one person viewing. I don't know if it's me or you. Yeah, I popped in for a second and then popped out. So it might be someone actually in there. So let's see if the chat. Testing 1, 2, 3. Oh, there's 3 people now.
Test.
Anybody here in the chat? I think the music's turned down a little bit, so they should be able to hear. Yeah. Hey, Mike. Let's see, we were talking about settings and we came across that setting that you were asking about. I think. Now I can't remember what it was because we weren't recording back then.
Want me to bring that up?
Yeah, they won't be able to see it just yet, but it was up above something about an offset. There it is. What is it? An extruder max length. So he was asking about why it was stopping. So let me put that in the chat. Oh, he said he reset it in the EEPROM. So we're up to 3 people so far. Guessing in a couple minutes that'll get a little bit bigger. Can't remember which night's the busiest. Might be Saturday or Monday. Friday might not be the best night. Looks like Mike's streaming on both Amazon and, or excuse me, Twitch and YouTube, it looks like.
So what, he streams our stream?
He watches the stream.
Hey
we're
Mike, how you doing?
Yeah, we were talking earlier in the week about the max length not working for extrusion after a certain length, and I couldn't remember what setting it was. Because, you know, there's only about like 500 settings they have to worry about.
You see 500 settings. I see 5 billion settings.
Yeah.
F0. So,
Well,
yes. So,
there's a ton of different settings just for bed leveling that it used to be 3. Now it's like 15. And it all depends on what you're working with for your screen. So let me make sure I got stuff up here. Okay, I've got your board on the website. Let me make sure everything's working. So I'm gonna basically rotate through different screens to see, and you're showing up on my one screen over here. There's that screen, VS Code, counterface. See if I've got that up. And I gotta turn on my camera, but I'll wait a minute on that. And then Workbench is obviously off because the camera's off. So I don't know if we want to introduce them to Cordis from the actual desktop, meaning how to pull up the file compare.
yes, I'll just,
Yeah.
so that. Because once it's installed, all you do is install Torrent, select your files, right click.
So I don't know if you want to.
Torrent down.
Actually, I'm gonna put you on the your camera for the moment. So the image should be in the browser with your camera if they're watching on YouTube in a minute or 2.5 minutes. We check on the number of people. Looks like we're down to 2. I think it's bad luck to check the numbers while it's streaming. I know it spikes midway through the stream. And it's usually when I'm talking away.
Yeah.
But what we'll probably do is get your screen working. I can't remember if we got it working. I think we did.
Yeah, we did. I can plug it into USB. Hey, we're about to just do that.
Yeah, if you want.
No, I can't. Set to another one, 240. So I need to send it back to just to USB anyway, right? Because I'm going to be doing stuff.
Yeah, we're gonna see if we can change some of those settings.
See that screen? It's a bit shiny.
Oh, I can make out most of it right now. Yeah, the cool
The
thing.
screen works fine.
Yeah, I might be able to show them on my screen, on my side, if it's too much of an issue, meaning that it's washed out right now with the camera.
Yeah.
But we're 45 seconds away from starting.
So I'll unplug. It's already set to go.
And I'll get a second screen out just in case. I might have to dig for a screen, but we'll figure that out in a second. Or upgrade mine. Actually, I have that partially done as is. But 7 seconds. Hey everyone, we're Gonna see if we can finish up the upgrade of the Ender5 Plus today with Adrian. Adrian does was it barbecue board games? You want to tell him about it?
It's a board game barbecue Australia, but it's an international group. Got a 3D printer to try and start printing some 3D to some of my games because they are so expensive. Some of these third prints and printer for 2 months. Haven't bought the printer. Motherboard was burnt out and quality was less than useful, and this is where we're at today.
So
I'm very lucky to have Ed actually. So we did a lot last week. Stuff moved, things did stuff, but this time our best to try.
So some things that we talked about over the week that you guys didn't hear about were the example files. So I'll show you real quick where to find those. So if I go over to my browser, inside the browser, I'm going to go over to Marlin firmware. Inside Marlin firmware, I'm going to go to download. And then I'm going to click on the view downloads for the latest release. And inside here they have a config folder. If you download that one, being the whole thing right here to a zip, and you save your file, you can go over to your D drive. Let me bring that up so you can see what I'm talking about. Or excuse me, not your D drive, your downloads folder. And I'll show you what it looks like. So here's the folder. It's going to say configurations and releases. Now I've already unzipped it, but you're going to right click and do extract all. So I'll show you what the folder looks like inside. Inside here it says configuration release 2.0.7.2. Inside here there's going to be a config folder and then examples. Inside examples we're going to look for the Creality, and it's an Ender5 Plus. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
So inside there's two files. Those two files are basically as configuration as they see it in the files. So it should in theory work, but you're probably going to have to change things if you have special steppers and directions and stuff like that for your steppers. So we downloaded that today, and Adrian, I showed him how to use the software for SVN, for Tortoise SVN. And so if Adrian wants to bring up the file compare or show how to do the file compare, you guys can see how this works. So let me change the screens. Whoop. Sorry, I'm not seeing the... There we go.
So all I did was have my original files, which are just called Advanced. So, no, these are the files from my Marlin.
Yeah.
Is that what it's called? So they're from the Marlin directory. These two here we named to example, placing in the same folder. Then all I did was I clicked one, clicked the other, because they're essentially the same file, but one's the one that I coded. I just right click and that SVN. If what it did was and shows us our file, so you to so
yeah, so if there's a setting that you're worried about finding for your configuration, you know it already exists, you can use your example configuration from your folder for your printer, and this is a good template to begin with. Unfortunately last week we didn't do that, so we spent a lot of time changing things. So maybe today what we'll do is we'll just plug in the example configuration as it was named, being configuration.h, and we'll save the other copy of configuration.h in this folder so that we can go back and refer to it if we need to. So this will help speed up the actual install, but we'll see what goes on with the printer. So there may be some weird things that may happen, but we'll see what happens. This might speed things up and make it more enjoyable for people to watch. So you want to give that a try. Copy over the config example for advanced and for configuration.
So close this down then.
Yep.
It says, do I want to save modifications? I say save.
Sure. So we're going to grab the other ones, being the example configs.
So,
yeah. And bring them into your Marlin. Yep. I'll just sit back and let you do that and explain it.
Marlin. Is that in source? Is that where it is?
Hang on, let me look on my side, because I think it's in the Marlin folder, and I think we just copied it out earlier, which is okay. So
that was here. Hey, I moved them on copy.
That's fine. I'm looking at mine real quick here on my desktop, so I'm gonna go and look so that people can see what I'm talking about. So if I go to my Marlin folder up here, then I go to the first one, and the second one is Marlin again. That's where they should be.
So they're supposed to be here. That.
Yep.
Do I rename them to just drop the example off?
That is correct. And the underscore. And that's all you have to do for that. Then we have to go to VS Code and recompile and reload.
So I have to. Everybody, I don't do any of this stuff. Never have done stuff. So I ask a lot of questions.
Well, you're already doing it like a pro.
I opened the program. But so why do that tick? Is that
not yet.
Basically.
We want to go to configuration.h.
Oh.
And then do a search on motherboard. We just want to confirm some things real quick. So a second search on motherboard. There's 2 of them in the file, probably, or 3. I'm sorry, 1 more. Okay. So they do something kind of funky with their motherboard. So we're not using that motherboard. So we gotta go back and look at the comparison because I know it's slightly different. And we're just gonna copy over it.
Was that in...
that was in...
I think I can remember. Source?
Yeah, you can go there, but what's going on is that whole phrasing where they say if and if. These are compiler references. So I just want to wipe those out. So we're going to make it like the other files. So if you go back to the folder where we did the comparison, we can open our other one and just paste over that.
Sorry.
That's fine.
That's not my desktop. So open up
configuration.h. It's the one on top.
Okay.
And then search on motherboard. And you see how it's... Oh, that's how we have it here. So that's what we're going to copy between the if define or end define and then drop that one over it.
That much of it? All of that?
Yep. Then we'll go back to
So
VS
go-
Code. And you see
Yeah.
how they're doing it? They have something going on with pins. Those are actually the
Yeah.
reversal of the pins. So I guess the only thing we want to change is actually the motherboard.
So
Not the motherboard, I'm sorry, board underscore ramps underscore reality. So we're
yeah.
going to change that to the name of our board. But the other problem that we're going to run into that I just thought of is that those Xmin pins are for a different board, so it's not going to work. So let's just paste the whole phrasing that we just copied over those two. So between,
So
yep,
from there to there, just
correct.
paste the whole thing.
Yes. So what I was trying to say is that the other board is being remapped for pins with that previous thing, and so we can't really use it. That's why I wanted you to wipe it out. Then go up to where it says 115.200. Above the 115.200, there's a second one. Yeah, you want to go to the right of that. Whoop. Where it says a $250,000, copy that. So 115.
This here.
There's one, yeah, the one right up above on the right. Or you can change it there. Sorry.
Just type in 25.
Yep. Because your board can handle a faster speed. Then up above where it says serial port, we're going to change that to -1. And then I forgot it's, I think 0 for the second one, but I can check that real quick.
Yeah, it was 0 from last time.
Okay. And then we got to remove.
Yeah, so we choose to make.
Okay. So there's.
I'm so much faster this week, hey.
Oh yeah, but your end stops are going to act really funky. So we're going to have to do that test again and then figure out what's going on. But this is where you can show people how to fix it. Or ask me. So there's another thing about, just scroll down to, I thought I saw baud rate twice, but I might be imagining it. Yeah, I was imagining it. It was just scrolled.
Probably just the scroll.
Okay, so next thing we want to search on is our steppers. So we're going to search on A4988.
88, is that, yeah.
And we're using the SPI, but we're using it as step-dir. So we're going to call it the DRB 8825 for now.
Change all of these, yeah?
Correct.
Select it. Like, you see how I do that?
Yes and no. There's find and replace. So if you hit Control R, I think it is. I'm not sure in this editor.
It's all good. It's just this quick. All of them, yeah?
All the ones we're using. But you can do all of them if you want. So we're basically faking out the stepper for now, because we need to make a mod to the current steppers because we're missing the signal and diag pin. So we're using it like a regular stepper.
Or because so many bought.
Well, it's easily fixed. It's just ordering those little pins that I showed you last week. Or last Saturday, sorry. So in order to use this stepper now, we need to change or remove the comments for the ones we're using. So
how do we do?
Which axi are we using first of all? So like the X, the Y.
Y and Z, aren't we?
And then we're using E0?
Oh, E0.
There we go.
So basically take that out. That out. That all of them?
That's all we're currently using. So now you want to, let's think about this. We're going to check Well, the end stops are going to be funky, so we're going to have to go look at those. So do a search on end stop, because in this file, they did the remap, but they used a different end stop. So that's why it's going to be confusing, so we have to fix it, hopefully. But things may go wrong, in which case we'll fix those.
So, any of those?
It's going to be way down. Notice how many references they make to it?
Yeah, 76.
It might be up. Nope. We're gonna worry about those later. Might be a category. Let me search on my side real quick.
End stop settings.
That would be it. Got there before I did.
Went right the way back around to the top again.
Yeah, so what you see right there is they have them set to the max for those two on the bottom. So max plug.
3.
The max plug ones. We want to comment those out and uncomment the min ones.
So this one, get rid of this.
Scroll down one. That one. And the same for the Y-max. And then we're going to uncomment the ones that are min above it. So you see where it says use underscore zmin underscore plug?
Underscore z underscore plug, yeah, this one here.
Yeah, so go one line above that and remove the comments on those first two.
Ones I just had.
That's correct, but the board they were using was for the ramps, so I'll show you what's going on with that. So on the left-hand side, under the file tree, you'll see source, which is src, under lib.
Yeah.
Open that folder, then go to pins, and then inside there's the LPC 1769, that's your chipset. And so several different board manufacturers use the same chipset, but we're going to we're going to click on that. And this is where it gets slightly confusing. Notice how you don't see any pins in here? So normally you would see pins. So it's saying someplace in this file to include other pins. So it's pointing us to the LPC 1768, yeah? But there's something you'll see in a second that's going to be really weird, but click on that one. So it's saying we're sharing them. Then it's saying, okay, use these pins. So what is happening in the compiler is it's concatenating all of these or appending these into one file with all the information you need. So yeah, that's where the common will be, and this will be where the majority of your pins are. So these are mapped to your board for each pin that you're using. And so the mapping that they were using in the compiler reference that I had to delete was pointing to a different board type with different pins. That's why I had to actually delete that. So these are your actual pins, and they're shared between boards. So let's go back to the regular Marlin config file. And for the moment, we don't have any changes because we're going to have to experiment. So you can click the tick for the moment and see if it actually compiles. There may be issues, but we'll find out what those are. Okay, so it's got an issue. So if we scroll up to the very first one, because usually the error happens on the very first one, it says what? I can't read it. It's Lin something.
In font, it says, which one do you want to read? Oh, no, above the Lin? Or is that Marlin?
Sanity check.
So it says Lin underscore advanced and S underscore accelerate.
Okay, so we can find...
Enable experimental skirt.
Okay, S curve we're gonna copy that name where it's s_curve_acceleration. If you go up a little, you can just copy the, yeah, there you go. And we'll go back to configuration.h, or you can click on the reference. It might point you to the line. It's doubtful though, but it's easier just to copy it and then search in config.h. And you see where that define is? You want to put a comment in front of it, so 2 slashes. And then hit the tick again. So we're just stopping the usage of that for the moment.
What is that usage? Like, disable?
It gives you smoother curves, I believe, or it says right above, it says this option eliminates vibration during printing by fitting. I can't make out the word
Bezier? Easier?
Yeah. So it's
errored again.
So now we find the first error again.
File may not. It's a 1985 error. Enable Xmax plug zooming to max.
Okay, so hit the control button and click on that and see if it takes you there. Oh, didn't work?
No.
Okay, so copy the phrasing and search on it. Okay, so that's one instance of it. There might be multiple. It doesn't look like there are.
No, just one.
Interesting. So there's probably a second setting associated with it. So scroll down a little. A little bit more. There we go. Let's see what we got. I don't think that would be an issue. So scroll down a little bit more. Okay, apparently we're not able to find it, so go back to the compiler stuff at the bottom. And scroll to the top a little bit more. Okay, scroll down a little bit more. So when homing X to max. So do a search on max. How many do we have? 77?
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna have to search around, I guess. So
is there a way to start number 1?
possibly. You might be able to do regular expressions, but I'm not sure. So it's not that one.
Just gonna take. No.
Yeah, this is the downside to using the file, by the way.
Yeah, right. We didn't have these errors last.
Yeah, they may have done something special with that portion of the file. You know how they did the pins? So what we can do is we can go back to the file compare, and at least people can see how we can work around this problem. So compare the config and the advanced, or and the example, sorry. So what we can do is, we've already done a couple of these that I know didn't matter. So we're gonna go down the list and see where there's differences. And the differences will be highlighted on the right hand side where it's configuration example. So I don't know if you can swap the direction. I think we opened them in reverse, but it's no biggie. We can also cut and paste if we have to. But we'll scroll down one by one.
Okay, so you're saying select this one first, this one second.
Yeah. Yeah, that works. So currently the define thing up above there is not really necessary that I know of. So we're going to ignore that. That's just some kind of comment. And then we'll go one by one through the settings. You can actually do your own, but you can see for the config settings, the author, that's up to you. But that's the format. Then the
And
serial
we've done
port.
this, we changed this ourselves.
Yeah, we're gonna leave the serial port the way we have it.
There's max, look, there's X max.
We're gonna ignore all that because that's not correct. Because if you look at the board type, that's why I'm concerned. So serial number we don't care about unless you want to make up your own. We're not worried about that setting. Just so people know, we changed a couple of settings just to experiment. We're gonna skip that one as well. It's just a comment anyways. And then we have max length. We could change that if you want. So you're gonna highlight that line for 750. I'm sorry, the entire line. And then show them how to change it over. Huh, not working.
That's dulled out. Oh, is it because it's open in Visual Code?
Possibly yes, but we're in a different folder, I think. So go to next line. Try that and see if it works. No, that doesn't work. Okay.
It must be. We are in this folder.
No. I'm not sure we're in.
No.
But we can copy it over manually. But normally there's the use left block. There it goes. So it might be just the way we're highlighting. And it brings it over. So it makes it equal. So then we have thermal chamber, but we don't have one. So we're going to ignore that, but always leave those enabled. And then the min, you see how we have our pins already set up here, so we're going to ignore this category.
Stop settings.
Yeah, we're just looking for differences. And we already changed these, so we're going to leave them alone, except for the Z-min. You're going to copy that one over for Z-min end stop inverting true, and the other one, yeah. And this might get a little funky when we do this, but yeah.
Last time the board was going the wrong way, so
yeah, we might resolve parts of it.
And we know about this because we use these, right?
That is correct.
So, this.
Okay, so this has to do with noise. We can ignore this for now. Then we have the default units. The problem that we ran into is we don't know what the defaults were, but here they have them, so we might as well copy this over. And this is the defaults for the printer according allegedly to the manufacturer. But they're probably not going to be correct, but that's fine. Now, where it has... Sorry, what?
Do we need to delete this out so it works?
If you want. It's commented out at the moment, so it'll be ignored.
That doesn't, so that's okay then?
Yeah, it's got a comment in front of it, so the 2 slashes will ignore it when it compiles. Because it knows it's comment text.
Okay, so that's like a reference, is it? So that.
Yeah, it's for the programmer. And there's a different style. Yeah, there's a different style just below that, where you see slash star star, and then it goes down and it has star slash. That's commenting a block. So that's just a programming way of saying I have many comments to do. So
I see what you're saying.
In this case, you can copy this over or ignore it. That's your choice.
This one?
Yep.
So someone else has already predetermined this, right? Our board. So sure. Do you say that's right or not?
Yep. Well, we're going to try it and see what happens.
Is anyone talking in? Anything?
Good point. People are probably screaming, "You're going the wrong way."
Yeah.
If anybody doesn't know that joke, it's from Dazed and Confused, where they're driving down the road in the wrong direction, and people are trying to tell them, and they're like, "What?" Let's see. Someone's talking in, I think, Spanish or Argentine. Sebastian, I think, is asking something, or he's saying elegant. I'm not sure which. I'll check that in a sec. The solution is right in red. LOL. There's an icon for switching just before the last icon of the menu bar. So he's telling us where. So there's shift left, right, I think is what he's talking about. And then let me see what Sebastian's trying to say here. And the good thing is I think we're on the right screen. Auto detect. Hold the T. Okay. Maybe he thinks we're drinking tea right now instead of coffee? But let me double... Oh, it could be my accent too. But I don't think it's appropriate for me to try and mimic someone else's accent while I'm on stream, because it would be horrible. Okay, so let's go to the default Excel.
Here?
Yeah.
Same thing?
Yep. Which is for diff program, is what he now is saying. Yeah, they want us to troubleshoot the error, but I just wanted to show them this. So this is just so they can see other ways to approach this. So define jerk, yeah, we can do that.
Highlight.
Yeah.
Same for all of them, basically.
We gotta be slightly slow, but yeah, I think that's good. It's minimal difference.
Just do it, or just ignore it?
Yeah, go ahead. Well, ignore S curve, because the S might mean something other than what we're working with. So let's scroll down a little bit further.
It's curved. There.
Yep. Notice how it's commented out in this one for the one that we worked on last week. So we'll just leave it commented for now. But so this
don't transfer it. That's what you're saying.
That is correct. Do not transfer. Okay. Let's see what we got down here. So this is talking about the BL Touch, I believe. So we can actually do this. Now they've already done the computation allegedly on the left-hand side. So we're going to copy that over for the -44, -5, and 3. And what they're actually...
The nozzle, copy this over as well.
You can copy the comment too. Line. Now the reason that is on the left-hand side, after you copy that over, I'll tell you about this. Just above, where it says back, front, left, right. What they're trying to say is that in relation to the space being the tip, which would be N in the center, is that it's -44 in the X direction, which would be to the left. That's negative. And then it's -5 in the other direction, so it's towards the front. So that's your Y. And then your Z offset is -3.0. That may have to be calibrated later on, but that's what it's talking about. So then the margins, you want to do that next.
So how do I do that? Just the whole thing? Just this one?
That is correct.
What about these ones?
Let's see what that says. Stow. It's basically the slightly different, so we could change it, but stowing, I think, has to do with putting something away, and I think it's attached to your print head. Okay, so they uncommented multiple probes, but we don't have multiple probes, so we're going to leave that alone. They might be talking about the X, or excuse me, the Z switch end stop for the Z axis. But in this case, we know it doesn't exist, so we only have one probe. So then down below, clearance. Yeah, we'll go with clearance.
So, can we do all of those?
Yeah, that's fine.
I like that.
Yeah. And then
this.
Yep. And then we'll scroll down and see how much more is left. Okay, so that one we're going to avoid for the moment, because we can fix that later.
Why wouldn't we use it now? Do you know how the Z moved this time? Would that be anything to do with that or not?
Yes and no. The steppers they're using are the A4988s, which travel in one direction by default. And we're using what's called the DRB 8825, and I think the TMC 2130s move in the same direction as the DRB 8825. Someone will probably correct me in the chat, but we can correct that later on. But essentially, they're talking about a different stepper, so we're going to ignore that setting.
Okay.
So Z homing, yeah, we can change all these. Then the direction won't touch for the moment because we already figured that out last week. And then the bed size you definitely want to change. I didn't realize your bed size was that big.
That's a beast.
And then, let's see, they're talking about minimum positions. So this is where the travel limits in millimeters after homing. So this means that when it homes to the access switch, it looks like the Z-min will home and then move 8 out from the actual switch. So we can copy that over. And the other one says -1, which makes no sense. But okay. And yeah. So the -1 that you see up there, that I don't understand, because that's weird. But maybe I don't understand the setting, but either way we just copied it over. And I'm pretty sure they're not going to check for it. Filament runout sensor, you do have one of those. That was the thing we were trying to figure out what it was initially, so you can copy that over. Now, a lot of these messages might not pop on your screen depending upon how it's set up, but we'll look into that. That's something else you have to program separately. So, bed leveling. There's 5 types of normal bed leveling. The one that I work with that I like at the moment is universal bed leveling. It's the 4th one down, but they're using the 3-point leveling. Let's go with 3-point, or I'm sorry, we're using 3-point. Let's go with universal bed leveling, sorry. So you can just copy the whole category.
Oh, okay. That's good.
Oh, you figured out the other one while I wasn't looking. Okay. Then it says restore leveling after G28. It's uncommented, so we'll take that one as well. This is mostly BL Touch configuration that we're doing right now. So here's universal bed leveling. So this will set up a pattern of points. So we'll copy the whole category over just so we can take care of that. On your printer, it's probably going to be easier than it was on mine, because the Ender3 is not the same as an Ender5. And then we'll have to scroll down a little bit more. I think we're close to being done. This
parts up.
You can copy that over, that's okay. It's how fast it moves, essentially. And then they're talking about patterns, and then EEPROM settings, we want that on. So yeah, copy that. So for people that don't know what EEPROM is, it's the abbreviation, I don't remember what it is, but it's rewritable RAM. And there's a certain way to rewrite it. So that's basically a way of storing stuff. The old memory for like an Apple IIc or Apple II was burned in, meaning that at the factory they sent a code over of light, or what, I'm sorry, they sent something over that burned it electronically. You could reset it with the light, but in this case, newer technology, it can be now rewritten with an electric signal instead of light. So that's why people used to hate EEPROM, because if they took something out and they were talking to someone in the sunlight, they zeroized their chip. But that no longer happens, and it's just useless information I thought I'd share. Yeah, somebody has the actual abbreviation in the chat. It's erasable, programmable, read-only memory. So EEPROM.
Sure.
Okay, so these are different temperatures. PLA usually melts around 180 degrees Celsius, but they're saying 185 for safety. So you can copy that over if you want.
And the same for bed temp?
Yeah, bed temp I'd go with 60, but that's me.
That's fine. I've never printed anything in my life, so...
Well, you can always increase it later on. Then there's a nozzle parking feature. There's only one nozzle, so you can copy it over if you want, but that's usually used for, I think, when you run out of filament, but I could be wrong. It could also be for bed leveling, because obviously I don't know every single setting. So if you scroll down a little bit more, I think we're getting close to being done with this list.
We're like the way.
Okay, so you want to change that probably away from Japanese, because I'm pretty sure your Japanese is probably, well, it's probably better than mine, but...
Japanese is better than Australian.
There you go.
Does that count? So I'll flip that over.
And then this is where it gets funky. Because we're using a touchscreen LCD, we may or may not need to use this, so copy it over anyways.
TFT, right? TFT.
Yeah, TFT. A TFT is different from the LCD, but it does have a card slot, so we'll try changing it and seeing if it works. Let's see. This may not work either, because it's designed for a regular LCD, but copy it over anyways. We can always disable it later. It might
get... The screen worked before.
Yes. This is when you're in legacy mode for your screen. If you set it up, you can, I'll show you that later, but you can ignore it for now basically, or use it. It's not going to work probably. Let's see.
Safe so far.
Let's see, one of the Marlin dev. Oh, he's talking about something else, I'm sorry. I don't know even if there is one Marlin devs. Who knows all the parameters? Yeah, nobody knows all the parameters is what someone's saying. Okay, so now it's saying UI display. UI is user interface. They might be talking about a regular LCD that's not touch. So we're going to ignore this for now.
Don't do it.
Yeah, don't do it. This was your original LCD they're referring to. That's why we're going to have some confusion over this part. So we're going to ignore these.
Touch screen.
Yeah,
Isn't that us?
It's a different type of touchscreen.
So just go down.
Yeah. Or it may be a different touch. yeah, just ignore all this for now. And let's see, servos. Technically, you don't need the servo, by the way. I figured that out the other day. So you can copy the other side over.
Oh, okay.
Apparently, the power's on all the time, so it doesn't really matter anymore.
That was the end of the file.
Okay, so save that file. And then
copy that one in.
Do the other one after that. Whoop, you got both of them highlighted, by the way.
Oh yeah, sorry. So I copy just the example.
Yeah, configuration. And then we're gonna have to close VS Code because you're currently have it locked with the editor.
It's on the desktop. It's Marlin. It's code.
Oh, we gotta actually do the other file too now. Something special in there.
Okay, so go back to this.
Ender5 maybe?
Oh, config file.
There we go. And then highlight the advanced ones and then do another file compare. Or diff, sorry.
Is that the right way around?
It's backwards, but I... Oh, no, it's the right way. Never mind. Sorry. I'll wake up in a minute.
Alright, bud.
Okay, so we are looking at... Oh, okay. I'm just getting my bearings here. It looks like they did another thing with the config. Looks like they're pointing to an examples config. We're gonna skip this line for now. Yeah, it's not that bad on this one though. There we go. So, homing bump. Now, the reason they set 4, I don't understand because it's for a special stepper. So you could copy that line over, but I don't think it's going to make much of a difference, but we'll try it anyways. This is for sensorless homing, which you don't have. And that would be like a TMC 2209 or a TMC 2130. Or the
this one?
Yeah, these settings technically won't matter. But you can copy them if you want because they won't engage. Here's the one that does, allegedly. And then I don't know how many more settings will be different. Let's see what we got here. Restore leveling after a G35. We're gonna skip that for now. Let's see, inactivate Z. Go ahead and copy that one for now. Might be for something else, but we'll find out. And then I don't think that makes any difference. That has to do with the SD drive, but we can leave it for now. It's not important, hopefully. Let's see what this is. That's not important either. That's not important either. It's a different TFT. Linear advance we're not really using, so that doesn't really matter. Let's see what this is. Mesh bed leveling. This may matter. So copy over those. That's the universal bed leveling that I was talking about. And
Oh yeah.
this is easier than me trying to pick out each setting, so.
Yeah.
This firmware retract, this is probably going to be for your filament runout.
So flick it over?
Yep. Now, not everything might work perfectly, but at least we'll have the settings mostly. Tool change, there's no real tools to change, but okay. Yeah. Usually that's like a spindle where you change like print heads or something else.
Okay.
Advanced pause feature, yeah, you can copy that over. That might be for filament runout. Yeah, that's what it says. And I think we're almost done.
It's a lot of stuff that's exactly the same.
Let me check on the chat. Laugh aloud, you can switch between the sides of the diff with the left and right side. So there's left or switch over on the right or left that switches back and forth. See that little blue arrows? I think that's what he's talking about at the top. But we'll skip it for now and save.
But what about this thing here? What's this?
Mechanical gantry.
That's on our file.
Yeah, we're probably not using it, so you see where it's got those two forward slashes for mechanical gantry calibration down below? It means it's probably disabled. And the other parts are settings that are just floating by themselves. That could be that they developed something new and slipped it into the file, and the examples file is not up to date. Yeah, he's agreeing with what I said about the blue arrow.
Blue arrow?
When we were in there, there's a way to toggle back and forth. One side to the left, left or right side, depending upon what you want to do.
Cool, so that's all in.
Okay, so hopefully it'll compile this time. I think we'll still have an issue, but we'll find out.
Download some language.
Yeah, that's for VS Code. That's fine. It does auto updates when you open. There's a setting if you want to turn it off, but I just leave it on. So click the tick and see what happens. Yeah, we're about to find out if there's an Xmax issue. That's what ebo.org is saying. Okay, so we have one issue. Let's see, advanced pause feature. So this is probably going to be on the advanced tab, I'm guessing. And we'll just go and disable it for now.
How do I do? Sorry.
Go to configuration advanced. And then you're going to go to advanced pause. There you go. Yeah, so if it doesn't work, just comment it out and then figure it out later, kind of thing.
We might not even need.
Well, it's for your filament, but that before the define, put two markings in front of it so we can comment it out. And then try recompiling. We can bring things up one at a time, essentially. So there's something else related to this. So we've got to find the other issue. So it's saying in the sanity check, so if you click on that while holding the control button for sanity check, the red...
Wait.
Yeah, so click on that with the control button held down on your keyboard. No, that didn't work. Hang on. Maybe it's the yellow button, or the yellow just below it. Yeah.
Run out. It just puts it in the search button.
Yeah, I have to do this from my side to see it, but We
Is
can
it
always
Control and Alt or something?
it might be just a click if you can click on it. Yeah, see, the messed up thing is I do this from memory. So there, try that. Where it highlights the whole line, move your cursor over it.
Did that? It just does this.
Okay, so hang on a second here. We can actually go to the file. See where it says sanitycheck.h?
Where am I looking? Sorry.
See the red? Sanitycheck.h. So you can map to that, probably try core. I think that's where it might be. But it might be, oh, it's INC, sorry. Right below it. Now go to that line number.
30.
I think you can say Control G, but either way, either or. This might be more descriptive, or it might be the exact same thing. So it says advanced pause feature is required to use M600 with filament runout. So let's go back and re-enable it.
Back in
Advanced config. So if you're inside VS Code, advanced pause feature, enable that by taking off the comment up above where it says define advanced pause feature. And let's see if there's something else around here that we're missing. Try compiling again and seeing if we get an issue. Okay, let's go to the very first issue. And that is in the sanity check file, I think. Okay, so it says requires supported LCD controller or emergency parsing. So this might be the LCD stuff that I was curious about. So it might not work because it thinks that the LCD that we're currently using is different than it actually is. But there's something up. The comment for the 600 is required. Advanced pause feature is required to use M600 with filament runout. So search on filament runout in the configuration advanced file. Okay, do it in the configuration.h file. Let's go to those. So that's enabled. Other one enabled?
The other one here says define for script. It's 600, right?
Okay, comment that one out. Yeah. Then try compiling again. Okay. Comment out filament runout sensor for the moment.
Sorry, this one here.
Yeah.
Again?
Nope, we have to go to configuration advanced and comment out the other one. So, what's the other one? Advanced pause feature. Now, the issue might be that there's a bug or we're not configuring it correctly, but we'll save it for last. Yeah, comment that line out. This is just to keep things moving forward, then we can worry about the one thing last, because you can function without the runout sensor, technically.
It's going through and doing a lot more.
Yeah. Now, I haven't set up the runout sensor in 3 or 4 years, so things may have changed.
I wouldn't. I wouldn't. I'll definitely make sure this for that.
Yeah, you can just basically work around that sensor for now, or keep it unplugged.
Yeah, for sure.
But we can eventually fix that.
So plug in the USB and upload this to the board.
Yeah, that'll work. I think you need to move your jumper, or no, you don't need to move your jumper because you fixed it already.
Yeah. So it's on USB. And if I'm honest, I forgot the little pro button.
Yes. That'll push it to your board, and that's your board right there, and there's your file.
Take it out.
Yeah. You power down the USB is the easiest way.
I mean, pull it out of the USB.
Pull out your USB cord from your computer so that it loses power on the board, then plug it back in. A lot of people say to hit the reset button, which is, I don't like touching the board if I don't have to.
No, yeah, I can.
But, I mean, they might be telling you that so they can sell more boards. Because in the environment that I'm in right now, the static level's high because of winter. So I don't like to touch things if I don't have to. And the date on that? Yeah, we want to just check to make sure that it's within the last 5 minutes. And of course, in America, we do our date and time different.
Yeah, it's definitely 10:01 just now.
Wow, that's the morning? Well, we got started early.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, that's the fun part, not knowing which time on which side of the planet. It's Saturday there and Friday here?
Yeah.
Okay, so we got that set. So now we're going to turn on the printer after we move the jumper, so you're going to have to pull the power on your USB.
Take USB out. Move the jumpers.
Now the good thing is the LCD that you have on the back, there might be a 3-pin thing for your runout sensor. You might be able to route it to that.
So would that be a PS on fill detection?
Yeah, filament.
That'd be it, right?
Yep.
Yeah, FILDE. So it must be right.
So that's our workaround for that problem, but we have to then.
Genius.
I don't know if I'm a genius. I'm just trying to avoid having to do more board configurations. But it's
okay. So I can plug in power to the printer itself.
As long as everything is safe, meaning that just the power and you're not close to it.
So anything, nothing's touching wood.
I overemphasize safety just because I want people to be safe. Which can be humorous and annoying to people that are watching, but they've seen me spark a board in one of my videos, so they understand the safety aspect.
Turn the power on.
Yep. And for those that are doing super chats, thank you very much. If you're doing them. So inside YouTube, there's a button that says Super Chat, and if you have a Google account, you can click on that and donate money. People do it, but the problem is sometimes it scrolls by because I get into what I'm doing, so I always have to tell people thank you even though it is or is not there, just because I may have missed it and I don't want to be ill-mannered. So now that we got that set up, now we got to try and move the axis again. So everything should be centered if possible. And then you're going to keep your hand on the power switch just in case. And if it moves the wrong direction, we'll power it down.
So how do I do that from the?
Yeah, Pronterface. So you want to explain what Pronterface is to people, or do you want me to do it?
All I know, like you gotta understand. All I know is it connects to the printer, and I can control things from here, stuff.
Yeah,
That's
so
what I know.
essentially it's a Python interface that someone developed that allows you to communicate with the printer. Now, a couple of issues that occur with this, sometimes it will auto-detect the port with the drop-down for your communication port or COM port. So let's try the other option. Try COM5. And that was the one.
Connected.
Now, if it doesn't work, you can go to Device Manager and see which COM port it is and then put that number in for it. So
last time I was able to listen the Y.
And I had the directions backwards, meaning which direction it moved when I set it, so we'll figure that out again. So let's first check to see the end stops are functional by typing down where it says send M119.
So send, I type send.
No, send is the name of the button, sorry. M is in maker. 119. Now, essentially what this is doing is telling us the state of the end stops. So currently the X is open, the Y is open, and the Z is triggered. Now the Z, we may have to do some more hardware manipulation to fix that, because I know what the possible solution is for this. It's just a little bit more pain. But we'll get to that in a second. We'll just verify that the X and the Y actually home towards the end stop. So if you have your axis in the middle for the X and the Y, click home, and if it doesn't go in the right direction for the X, power it down.
So just bear with me. Last time it went the right way.
Correct. It may still. But we want to make sure, because if we kick off a print and it doesn't.
I'm going to press Y home. How do I know which way it's going to go?
You know which direction the end stop is in on your axis, correct?
Made a horrible noise when I did.
Horrible noise? That's good.
I just pulled it out.
Okay, so as in the noise was loud?
Mechanical and loud.
Okay, where's the axis? Is it meaning in the position of the y-axis? Are you in the center for your bed, or? Yeah. Okay, and
yeah, well, I'm not in the center, but I'm close to the center.
Okay, and when you go to move it, it makes a weird noise.
It did then, yes. So when I press Y home, it went. Like,
okay, so
if I move it 1 millimeter.
Okay, are you connected?
So no, I'm connected now.
Okay.
I move. Does it?
Now do 1
millimeter. And 10 is fine. I can press 100, right?
Yeah.
That was fine.
Try homing it then. If you're in the center. So,
maybe it's the wrong way around.
So you see where it says Y and then it's got a little house next to it?
Yeah.
Note where your ends.
Yeah.
Okay, click it, and if it moves towards the end stop, you're good. If it doesn't, power it down.
No, it did. It moved a little bit. Then the bed it moved, and it went and it like electrical, like a motor.
Okay, so that might have to do with the type of stepper we're using. Can't remember if we had this.
try the x-axis?
Yeah, try the
See if it does the
x-axis.
same. No, we didn't have this problem last time. We moved and we touched both of the and it.
Okay, does the X do the same, or it looks like you're...
X worked fine. Y did not.
Okay, so there's something going on with Y that we got to look at. I don't know if you want to try it again and move the speaker closer so I can hear it.
Yeah, no. Set up, put the speaker on it. I'll make for microphone settings. Make it super sensitive. It's gonna be sensitive.
I'll change it over to your... Can you move the camera so we can see what's happening? I was suggesting putting the camera on the actual printer so we can see the motion.
Nothing moves though.
Oh, okay.
Moved very little. Let me just put that set down. As soon as I do at that time, it worked fine.
We've all had those days.
Okay, let me try the Z then again.
Now the Z's going to be interesting because it's already clicked. So before you do that, on the BL Touch.
Yeah, the BL Touch is clicked in.
Okay, so if it's moving towards the surface, we're just going to test it by clicking it with our finger. So when it starts to move down, click it with your finger, make sure it stops. If it doesn't, then power down the printer.
Z-axis isn't moving.
It's not moving at all?
No, not.
Awesome. So what's
No, it moves a little bit then.
But then it dies.
Then it dies, yeah.
So as you can see, there's an error in the prompt.
Yeah. I see it.
Essentially, this error means that something's possibly disconnected or not connected. So this is where it gets interesting. So power down the printer and the motherboard for the moment, and then we'll go over to VS Code and I'll walk you through what we're going to do.
Unplug the VS Code.
Okay. So I've got to find this.
Do I need to move the jumpers to the USB?
Eventually, yes. Or we can leave them there and power it up and then load it that way. I mean, there's 2 different ways to do it. Or actually, there's 4 or 5 different ways to do it. But yeah, for now, we'll do it through USB. So now I got to find this setting. It's Zmin something. Safe homing. I'll do a search on Zmin. I forgot what this is for. Whoop. I'm just checking my settings because I did this the other day. Okay, so on your board, I'll describe what you want to look for while I search for this setting. But on your board, you know how we used that side port? So you had the 3 pins for the USB, or I'm sorry, 3 pins for the servo. And then you had 2 pins being the white and the black that were for the end stop. What I want you to do is move that over to your Zmin end stop. I gotta look at my printer because I did this the other day.
Literally, like, I'm somewhat lost in what you're saying.
Okay, so...
Oh, but are you talking about this thing?
Yes. So you have the white and the black wire down there.
Yeah.
And the board is powered down, right?
Yeah, it's all powered.
So lift out the white and the black wire. Now, you see how you have your end stop structured where you have that blank pin, so you have your voltage ground signal? I'll show you
this one.
Yeah, I'll show you a graphic in a second. Let me pull it up. I have to bring up the screen here. So I got the screen open and I'll share it in just 2 seconds. Well, actually, see, can I see my screen over there? No. Hang on a second. I
thought we'd done all of that stuff with the BL Touch, though. Just that the dead board. Last time, BL Touch was okay. Like, it out and went blue and did its thing.
It may have, but I may have screwed something up when we did the file copies. So I'm gonna share my browser for a second. Hopefully you can see it. Hang on a second. I'm having good times here. Let's see. Share your screen. There we go. Okay. So inside here, what you're looking for is where it says ground and 0 dot. You could always pull up YouTube, turn the sound off, and see it that way.
Screen.
Hang on, let me make sure I'm sharing.
You are. It says you are.
Yeah, there's something like on the right-hand side. There should be like some kind of thing that you can click.
Here we go. Got it. Yeah.
Okay. So where I'm saying you see servos and then probe. I don't know why they do servos in plural. That's hilarious. There's only one servo set of pins. And then they have probe to the right. So what we're looking for is the X minimum one, which is up to the left above servos. You see how it says ground?
Servos.
I'm sorry, what?
So above servos,
you have Z stop.
Yeah, I got Z stop. Yeah, that's right.
So you have ground, and then you have that 1.27. You're going to orient the white wire over the 1.27, and the black wire goes over the ground. And that's how it's going to plug in.
I'll have to cut the off, you know, the...
if that's the case, yes. If not, then try and slide it in. And I'll go back to your screen, hopefully. Let's see, there we go. Let me make it so they can see. There we go.
So black wire is going to... which bit?
To the ground. So it's going to be similar to the other ones that you've done for X and Y. Essentially, it's the same pattern. Yeah, you may have to trim it. Let me make the screen wider because they're seeing this funky because I'm showing them the snowstorm down below. There we go. For those that don't know, it snows a lot here, and where he is, it's nice and warm.
So I might have to reverse these to get that to work. Wires, because of the way this is shaped, it doesn't want to go in there.
Okay, well you can reverse those two technically, but I'm not sure how this is going to turn out. Let me look at mine real quick.
because it definitely doesn't want to fit.
Yeah, let me show you. Oh, mine's actually a different connector, so it's kind of sucks.
It's okay. It won't take me 2 minutes to sort it out.
Trim it down.
I'm gonna have to, because it won't physically fit into that thing.
Yeah, you still have those wire cutters?
Wire cutters?
Oh, it won't fit in?
No, the plastic won't fit in.
Oh, okay.
Because of this piece here, it's too thick to get past that plastic. But it will take me 2 seconds to just swap it.
The one that Big Tree Tech sent me has the flat DuPont connector.
You get the nice ones.
It's the extender cable, but right now I have it hanging over a light because I haven't wired it up yet. But let me see if I can find that setting while you're doing that. I always goof this setting up, so it's configuration.h. Maybe I wrote it down in my notes. Let's see, Zeman pin, that's one of them, but we don't have to worry about that one.
Okay, that went on no problem. It's been switched.
That's good. Right now I'm looking for the configuration. I think it's Zmin. I'll actually IM it to you.
Yeah, okay.
And then you can search on that one. I just have to bring up the session here real quick. Search on that. And I'll expand out, or I'll change to your other screen when it comes up.
And I'm searching on config.h?
Yes.
Or advanced?
Config.h, but your VS Code isn't up, so they can't see what we're doing.
Okay, I won't touch it. It's there ready though.
Yeah, just so the audience can see what we're talking about. Yeah, I'm not sure if your screen is sharing or I'm sharing.
Oh, that's my fault. You're 100% right.
Well, no, I thought I was sharing over you. That's why I was worried.
Share screen 1, go live. There you go. You just need to connect to my screen.
Okay. So you're gonna comment that out. Let me just double check on my side because I may not have done that, and I'm then misdirecting. Trying to do this from memory. Actually, you're not going to comment that out. I am sorry.
It's okay.
But we're not going to worry about it because it's not going to... That's actually what we're using. So if we weren't using that, then we'd have to do other steps. So just by placing the end stop in that connection physically on the board, we may have solved the problem. So we'll set it up to power up like normal. So you're going to have to power down your board, move the jumper, and then, So I'll jump over to there.
The jumper's already okay where they are.
Okay, then we'll power up the board, or power up the system, being the printer.
USB and the printer, hey, because we're going to need to use...
USB first, usually, just for safety.
Yeah. That's what I did. I did USB, but nothing came on because obviously it's not.
That's good. Okay, so the printer's now powered on.
Yep.
Is there any way you can move the camera to the printer so they can see what we're talking about? So I'm talking about it in the abstract, and they don't know what I'm saying.
We have this. Excuse me, on the wire. It's a bit tighter around the stand.
Alright.
This is kind of like what we're... Let me get to the camera.
Yeah, so if you can move it towards the sensor for the BL Touch so they can see what's going on.
So, my USB lead is not very long. It's definitely not going to be. Oh, there we go.
Okay.
So we're trying to get to that. Is that it there? Look.
Yep. And so
Sure.
first thing we're going to do is power on the printer. Go into printer face.
Let me just hang this back up again.
Okay.
Okay, cool. So power up printer.
And bring up printer face, and I don't know if I can see it. Let me just move over to where you are. There we go.
Connect. We're connected.
Okay. And now do M119 again. And it says triggered, so that's fine. So now do a home and push it with your finger immediately on the sensor.
And if any dramas, just pull the power, yeah?
Yes.
It's moving like it should. It's gone to the corner. It's going to the middle. Sensors come down.
Click the sensor with your finger.
Moving. The bed's moving down.
Yeah, click the sensor with your finger.
Nice, it stopped.
Okay, so
when I pressed that, the bed went down, just so you're aware it was going down.
Instead of going up.
Is that cool?
It's supposed to go up. Yeah. It's supposed to go up is what you're saying.
I believe so, yeah, to touch that sensor.
So we figured out one thing from this, that your bed is moving in the wrong direction. So we can fix that. And there may be another issue, and that could be that your your Z min is actually backwards, logically, but we can fix that as well. So first thing we'll do is we'll go into VS Code.
Should I power down everything first, or do I need to do that anymore?
Power everything down and then move the jumper to USB on the board.
Yep. Jumper. USB. Oh. Yep. Done.
Okay, and then the next thing you want to do is go into VS Code.
Yep.
And you want to search on invert.
Invert.
And you're looking for invert the stepper direction. And then it says... Sorry, what?
It says for inverting stepper enable pins. Like that's what I'm at.
Okay, there's another one further down.
Invert the stepper direction.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you're going to change the true to a false.
Yeah.
And then you're going to upload again to the board.
So I'm just doing the build thing.
Yeah, your computer's rather fast, so your build's probably going to be pretty quick.
Yeah.
Originally, when I did my videos, I had to do it on a laptop, and the laptop took upwards of half an hour to compile until they fixed VS Code.
Oh, wow.
So I would record it, and then I would cut out the center so people didn't watch the entire compile. But on this computer, it's like 10 seconds, so... Or...
Yeah, so that's that done. 35 seconds, there you go. It's a new world record.
Yeah.
Now I upload it? Do I press the upload button?
Yeah, I think on my machine it's 21 seconds, but I have a slightly different computer.
Here we go. I've got an error here.
So why do you get that error?
I know. Because I didn't plug the USB in.
Yeah.
Whoops.
Well, no, I mean,
Sorry about that,
at least you picked up the error and know what it is now.
Yeah. So I should be able to just press that button straight away again, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
And there you go. So it also moves quicker with the upload because it doesn't have to compile the whole thing because it already knows it's compiled.
So I take the USB out now and put it back in again?
Yep. Give it about 3-4 seconds just to make sure the system powers down. And I'll check on the chat while this is going on. Let's see. Got a couple of comments. It was congrats. You can't reverse the motor direction in the config of the printer directly without changing the Marlin config. Sound is weird. Is there an echo? So I think what he's hearing is your speech going over my speaker again, so I need to move my microphone further away and hopefully not knock a bunch of things over when I do it. Is there less of an echo? I'm asking the chat room.
Yeah, it's okay. So I'll pull out the. I'm going to pull the USB out and I'll move the jumpers because that firmware updated. No problem.
Okay, I'm going to try and switch screens here. Hang on a second. Now it's powered down, correct?
Yeah, I'm moving the jumper back. Put the USB in. Now, that guy there said that we couldn't do what we're trying to do. Is that correct?
We'll find out.
Okay.
I've been known to be wrong.
Okay, it's connecting up. Go back to front of face. Printers online. Checking the thingies. Triggered. So press the home. Any dramas. Will look good.
Yeah. Just make sure it's moving in the direction you want.
Yeah.
So is it moving up?
Moving, yeah. The BLT touch is just doing its thing where it moves around.
Oh, it goes to X home, Y home.
Going down again. Yeah, still going down.
Okay, so power it down. Apparently, let's take a look at the settings. I think I'm in the wrong place for the settings. It's actually the -1 maybe. Trying to think of where it is here. Let's see. Invert the stepper if it goes the wrong direction. So there's another place to do this. The axis goes the wrong way. That's lovely. So there is another functionality. It's like -1 something. Let's see. For inverting stepper pin enable, search on this phrase. We're going to do it a different way, hopefully.
Okay.
I just got to copy this so you can see it.
That thing that we changed from true to false, do we need to put that back to how it was before, or just leave it as false?
You can change it back.
So, how do I find that again?
So, Control Z.
Invert the stepper direction, and change that to true.
Yeah. Or you can do Control Z.
I've got it anyway. It was already here, so.
Okay, scroll up a little bit. This might work or might not. So, inverting stepper enable pins. We're gonna change it to. I don't know if this is right. I thought it was -1 unless they changed it. It's so weird.
It says use the 1.
Yeah, so go to the Z axis, turn it to 1.
Build, compile.
Are you set to the jumper and connected?
Yeah, I did all that already.
Okay, do that and then click the arrow or the build. And I'll check on the chat because he's probably telling us a better way to do it.
Yeah, he might have a good idea of how to do it.
Oh, he was talking about the sound. I'm just not paying attention. Yeah, usually they're screaming, "You're going the wrong way!"
Yeah.
Let me just double check to see they're seeing the right screen. Yep.
Building, it's almost finished.
This may not work, and then there's another solution that we can do, but we'll try that after this, if possible. I don't know if it will work.
Just making sure it all loaded all okay.
Yeah, that thing where it said rotate the plug on the previous thing, that's what it should be, but for some reason it's not reversing, so there might be something else going on.
So what is that then? Is that an issue with the board talking to these motors, or what? Like,
so the board is just an electric circuit with some switching in it. So I'll switch over so they can see what you're doing. So I guess you're going over to Pronterface now.
very soon. I'm just powering up the power. Oh no, not. I pulled the cord, so
well,
I have to go flip the switch.
That's safer.
Yeah.
Normally the invert should work. This is why I get confused. So.
Yeah, you would think that that would just flip, reverse what we're doing, but it doesn't seem to be the case.
Inside Pronterface, you're going to reconnect. Well, you already know the drill.
Yeah. Get ready. Press Z. Pull the pin. It's doing its thing. It's moving to the right thing with a BL touch. It's going back to the center of the board. I put the pin down and this time it hasn't moved. The steppers have done nothing this time. It's just sat there.
Okay.
Power down?
Yeah, power it down. And so I need to look at the connector for your Z-axis on your board.
Do you want me to remove what we did before?
Yeah. This is the thing I hate to change.
Okay, I'll just compile that back to how it was.
Okay.
Why don't you look up what you need to look up?
Well, I already know what to do, but I don't want to do it.
Why?
Because you don't have a DuPont connector on it. But you remember how you popped out the pins? I don't want to try that solution just yet. I want to go back and try and invert. I don't understand why it's not working. But there's something around there that I'm forgetting to do. So let's see what we got here. Disable access steppers immediately when they're not being used. We don't care for that category. Disable inactive extruders. We don't care about that. So, down below. Here it is.
Where?
Hang on. Where it says direction of end stops when homing. This may or may not help because we might be moving in the wrong direction. It's a little further down. So it says X home dir.
This?
Yeah, so we're looking at the Z axis.
Yeah.
If your end stop is on the opposite side that you're trying to home, you can change this from a -1 to a 1, and it should go the other way in theory. So we'll try this.
Okay.
I don't want to have you disassembling a stepper.
Errors. Didn't like that.
So what's the error? So
bin probe uses end stop pins required.
So remember where it said true and false for end stops? I have a funny feeling it's in there. Let me look at my setting. So your printer's functions in the opposite direction of mine, so everything is interesting. Where's that setting? There we go.
Is it in sanity check?
Well, you might be able to find it via sanity check, but it's easier to go to configuration.h.
Yeah.
And search on end-stop space settings.
Yeah.
And then scroll down to where it says mechanical end stops with COM. It's a little further down. There you go. So you see where yours says true and true. Let's try changing the bottom one to false.
Just the bottom one?
Yeah. If this doesn't work, then we'll try the other one.
Okay, so...
Try compiling.
Didn't like that.
Yeah, that's awesome. So, Zmin probe uses Zmin end stop pin. So there's some place where we've enabled probe, and I think it's either on config.h or config advanced. But the quick way to get to it, we'll just do a file compare and search on that phrasing.
Okay. So desktop, and then which ones?
We'll start with config for... And this way they can see visually, hopefully, what we have or have not done.
Oh, there you go, switch left to right, there we go. Let's see that button now. Okay, so what are we searching for?
The error that we saw in Marlin. And I'm going to check on the chat because someone probably is already screaming out the answer. Yeah, we have Z-stop is the probe, and the probe worked, if I well understood. You know, reversing the motor, not the probe. So what he's trying to say is the one where I'm saying pop out the pins and pop them in the other side.
Yeah.
The reason that I'm trying to avoid that is because the alignment of the pins may vary, because I think it's A1, B1, then it's A2, B2, I forgot how it goes, but you're reversing the order basically. And so your motor might start to jump if we do it wrong. It'll make a weird noise because we mix the pins up. That's what I'm trying to avoid, but they're done in pairs. There's 2 on the left, 2 on the right. All you're doing is switching them. So if we do it wrong, then we can just switch them back. So you could label the wires that we're popping out with different colors and then note where they are so we can put them back the right way.
Oh, that seems easier, like, to me. Like, I don't mind doing that.
Yeah, so we can undo the change that we're currently doing and do that, and hopefully it'll move in the right direction.
So, what do I need to do? Talk to me.
Okay, so power everything down.
I'll go back to here, don't I?
Undo the change, yeah. So Control Z. Or that, yeah.
Control Z, but that still says false.
That's fine. Control Z again.
So true, back to true, yeah.
Okay, then check to see if it compiles.
No, because it's not going to compile because we had that other error.
Okay.
So I have to press Control Z more, right?
Yeah.
We need that will compile now.
There we go.
That's what we changed. Okay, power thing down, unplug the USB. Now pull out the Z motors on this thing.
Yeah. So Z's going to be the third one over. There probably are 2.
Yeah, there's 2.
So you're going to have to mark the cables though. That's the hard part.
I'll aren't we only swapping 2 wires?
Well, inside each one of these, there's 4 wires.
Yeah, that's correct. I've got them on camera, I think.
Yeah, so what you want to do is you want to find a way to mark each one of the wires, because 2 on one side are going to be like 2 on the other. This is why I don't like doing this way. So essentially
though, like, we're just changing 2 of them, correct? Because the ground and the power or whatever are staying the same.
we're doing them in pairs actually. Or you can trim the top of that and flip the cable 180 degrees. So you see where we trimmed the end stops before? Where we cut off that piece of plastic? You see those little pointers there that are on that? You can trim those off and then rotate it 180 degrees and plug it back in.
Can try.
Usually a DuPont connector, you can get away with this, so.
That's okay to do this?
In theory, yes. Otherwise, we can replace it later, but it's not a big deal. Let's see. Answer, if I found on Reddit, one changed the E0 invert from false to true. Now, we're not using the extruder in this case, so we'll hold off on that. And then 2, swap the pins at the stepper motor. Didn't do anything, caused a fault. Was fixed, reflashing firmware, and return the pins to the original state. And then 3, on the board, rotate the E0 connector. He's talking about the extruder, which is a similar fix, if you can plug it in the other way.
Yeah, it won't plug in the other way. It's doing the same thing as the other one. It's just too tight.
So what's occurring is you can pop out the pins, but they have to go in pairs. So there's 2 on the left and 2 on the right. You got to move the 2 on the right to the left and the 2 on the left to the right. But you got to mark the pins just before you do this, because this will cause headaches later on.
Okay,
but
so let me go get some stickers or something that I can use to mark them.
Do you also have a LED that's not soldered into a board?
LED?
I'm thinking of a diode, sorry.
No, I don't
Okay,
have any,
that's fine.
I don't have any technical stuff.
So a diode's a way to check it. I did a video on it to show where the poles are, but that's a really old video. It's still true, but nobody watches it anymore, which is hilarious.
Okay, so what am I marking these then?
So let's numerically mark them 1, 2, 3, being the pins, or not the pins, the wires.
Okay, starting from that side of the board?
So from the connector in your hand, from left to right. Or right to left, it's up to you.
So what I'll do is, anything that's pointing to the power is number 1. We'll go with that.
Okay.
So that's kind of easier for me to remember. So
this is just so we can put them back in case we made a mistake.
yeah, so this is number 1.
But this is also why I like DuPont connectors.
Is the DuPont connector one that can be reversed, is it?
Yeah, it's flat.
Yeah, it's way better. This is a pain in the bum. So this is number 2.
And then I'll look up the pin positions because I might get them backwards. I actually might have a diagram in one of my crates. Yeah, I knew I kept this around for a reason.
Who's the guy that's trying to give us the advice on the chat?
That is Hebo.org.
Hey Hebo, man, thanks for your help.
Yeah,
It's
he's
very
saying
interesting.
he's using it Reddit as a resource as well as probably a bunch of other places.
Yeah, that's awesome, dude. That's like, I guess I like, because I have, like, Ed's good, but I have zero clue what I'm doing. I say that Ed's up a tier, but I just apply it. I just, it says do this, and I just do it.
Just think of it as a board game.
Yeah, this is a very advanced board game. This is an Acerta for sure. Alright, okay, they're all marked 1 to 4.
Okay, I'm reading a diagram, but right now it's written in Chinese. So normally on a cable, I'd actually get one in front of me. Of course, I picked up the one that doesn't have that color. So what you have labeled as, I don't know which side's the plug side. Is that one on the far right? On the plug, there'll be like those little fingers that pop out on the plug.
So, on the plug side, which is this one, which I've cut the plugs off, which are the things that hold it into the board, right? That's what you're saying?
Mm-hmm.
Number 1 is, so this is the plug side, yeah? You see?
Yep.
That's number 1. This is the plug side. Number 1's here.
So you're going to take one,
Yeah.
and you're going to move it, I think in position 4, and you're going to take 4 and move it to 1.
Let's do that first then, sure.
Now if the motor makes a weird noise where it moves like jitters, means we did it wrong. So if it vibrates and doesn't turn. And what's... Sorry, I was eating some crackers that the apparently the rabbi sent me for the holidays. But the holiday doesn't start until next week, so... I think it has to do with Iran or something, the holiday from... Actually, it wasn't Iran, it was pre-Iran. It was 5,000 years ago, so they thought they'd sent... Yeah, it's Purim. Purim is a holiday about probably freedom, if I remember correctly. We've got like 8,000 holidays, so it's kind of hard to remember all.
Try not to mock me, but is it religious? Is it a bit Jewish? Is that the religion?
Yeah, it's all Jewish, yeah.
Cool.
The rabbi
I don't
kind
know
of...
much about it.
The rabbi kind of freaked out because of my last name, so he put me on some kind of mailing list where he sends me candy on the holidays now.
What's your last name?
Well, it's on the actual,
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah, I see it. I know what you mean.
but in Hebrew it means something else, and he knew what it meant. Essentially, in Hebrew it means son of Abraham, or descendant of. So, that's why I have gray hair. But also, I guess Game of Thrones is based on Abraham. That would be the woman that doesn't catch on fire?
Yeah,
Daenerys.
Yeah.
That's where they got the idea for that. But I burned myself, so don't believe that. But it's also a story that's about 6,000 years old, so I don't know how true it is.
Okay. Right, so 1 is now in 4, and 4 is about to go into number 1.
Okay, and then we got to do 2 and 3 the same, and hopefully we won't mess this up.
So I switch them as well? Is that what you're saying? Or leave them?
Switch them. Because they function in pairs. But we know what the order is of them now, so we can switch them back. If the motor starts to vibrate like crazy, then we know we plugged them in backwards.
Well, I'll have to do both of them, yeah, to test it. both motors.
That is correct.
So it'll be 1, 2, 3, 4 again, but it's just reversed, basically.
Yeah. So the holiday is about being saved from the Persians. And this was King, well, I can't pronounce his last name very well, but apparently he wanted to kill everyone.
That's not like a king. They don't usually do that, do they?
Well,
you must have heard of Henry VIII, right?
yeah, but I don't think I lived there when it happened, so I think he had a lot of wives.
Yeah, Henry VIII is, he had 6 wives, and he changed basically religion and all sorts of stuff just to suit what he wanted. It's kind of why we have Catholics and Protestants, I believe.
Yeah, well, as I like to say, people like to argue over the version of religion. When the humorous thing, I don't want to turn this into a religious debate, obviously, because we're showing something technical and it's not really suited for this, but essentially all 3 of the largest religions in the West or Midwest, meaning Middle East, their book is based on, it's a manual to teach people to live together. That's it.
That makes sense.
But a lot of other people take it more seriously, so we're not going to do this seriously, because unfortunately that's not what the channel's about.
Religious beliefs in 3D printing, programming 101.
Well, I think a conversation popped up in the chat room about we could talk about Mars.
True. They play a board game called On Mars, actually.
Yeah, the rover landed successfully.
Pretty interesting, eh?
But apparently we have an echo again, so I'm gonna... Or they're hearing the fan from my printer. Okay. Is the sound better?
Yeah. It does to me. I can't hear your fan anymore. But the fan doesn't worry me, so...
Yeah.
Alright, here we go. So, now, they're all labelled 1 to 4.
And they're all switched? Or, oh, you're about to switch them.
No, I've done one. I'm just about to do the next.
Yeah. So essentially, if this goes wrong, we can always put them back.
Yeah.
Yeah, I moved my microphone next to the output fan of my printer and had the printer on because we were talking about stuff before the tutorial began or live stream. I was showing him it actually worked on my side, which is hilarious.
You're just taunting me, dude.
Well, we're eventually going to get you to a similar state. Your printer moves in the opposite direction of mine, so that's the whole issue that we're trying to deal with. And normally software should handle it, so I'm confused.
Any advice for these things?
Slide them in carefully. There's a little press release on them.
Bend it out a little bit and push it back in.
Yeah, they might break, so you have to be ginger with them or handle them carefully. But on the flip side, we could always get a DuPont connector and clip it on.
Definitely going to be doing that, just so you're aware.
Yeah, when you build your own printer, you can basically take care of that and not have to worry about it with the DuPonts.
When I put all this stuff back together again, that's kind of the stuff that I'm going to do.
Yeah, Because, I mean, essentially then you can just clip the wires, splice them to the DuPont connector, and then rotate it 180 degrees and get the essentially the same thing. That's essentially what we're trying to do, is put them back in the same pin positions. But I might have the left and the right backwards being 1 and 2, or I'm sorry, 1, 2 might be the opposite direction, and then 2, 3 might be the opposite direction, or 3, 4. I'm forgetting how you numbered them, or 1 through 4.
So I did 1 to 4. Right.
Okay.
They're all done. They're all pretty well secured in from what I can feel.
Okay, so plug them in, and hopefully we had fixed the problem. No guarantees though. If your motors start to vibrate insanely when you move the Z-axis, that means that the poles are off inside the motors. And so the fix for that is power off the machine and move the pins back. Or reverse the order of the outside and the inside pin for the pairs. But we have them numbered, so we can do it either way.
Just trying to get that little clasp out. One of them is not catching.
Yeah. Oh, it's not snowing yet. The weird thing about when they predict 6-7 inches of snow is that if the lake is warm, it can push it away. If the lake is cold, it could all of a sudden drop all over us. But when I say lake, it's the scale of our lake is huge. We're between Canada's on one side of us, or Toronto, and we're on the opposite side. And I think it's 26 miles at the width.
Wow.
And the length is, I don't remember what it is, but it's far. Let me look it up because I don't remember the stats on this. It's Lake Ontario. I think it's the largest lake in the world. It's where Niagara Falls is.
Oh, okay. Cool. I know that.
Let's see if it gives dimensions. It's very shallow, though.
Yeah.
It's one of the 5 Great Lakes. I think Huron might be bigger. Or Superior, sorry. But let's see what we got here. Everything's written in miles for the United States. That's why it might be confusing. But I can say it in meters too, possibly.
I know enough about the miles.
Yeah, so it's 18,960 kilometers for the surface area of it, which is the smallest surface area. Sorry, Lake Ontario's got the smallest surface area. I think it's the deepest of the lakes for that part of the state, which is shallow. I think it's only like 243 feet deep, which isn't very deep. But we have lakes in New York State that are almost as deep as the trench inside the ocean. For Seneca Lake, I think, is the deepest lake inland that exists. I can't remember how deep that is, but it's a finger lake. And people that, if you don't know what a finger lake is, we have the Great Lakes, which are to our north. That's where all the snow either comes from or is pushed away by. So when big storms happen, it could, if they're warm, they could either create snow or increase the snow if they're cold. But it's called lake effect, so it controls the actual temperature and storm systems around it. And then there's the Finger Lakes, which it goes back to the Native Americans of the United States, called them Finger Lakes because they believed a higher power reached down with his or her hand and carved them out with their fingers, and that's why they look like fingers.
Sounds pretty cool.
But they did this obviously without satellites or hovercraft to see these carvings in the earth. But there are mountains nearby, so they probably could have seen them. Especially around Cuca. It's a huge wine country. That's where all the wineries are. What's that?
So now you're talking.
Yeah, it's probably bigger than Australia's wine industry just in New York.
I'd say so.
Because every single lake's...
We're all in, we're all done. Do I have to upload any files or anything?
Nope.
We reverted that file back, hey, so we didn't upload it because it errored.
So what you're going to do is power up the printer after you connect the USB so you can control it. And just move the Z-axis either up like a couple of millimeters just to check to see how the motors are moving.
Yeah.
So we're not going to do a big movement. If you hear a strange vibration where you see the motor just wiggle left and right and not turn, disconnect the power, but we'll find out. It won't do any damage, or shouldn't, but you'll get a strange vibration. As if it can't turn because the magnetic poles are not aligned right. This is
weird vibration.
You're seeing it already?
Oh, no.
Oh.
It's making a noise. I think that's something else. I think that's a power supply, maybe.
Okay. So try stepping the Z-axis. Let me move over so they can see what you're doing. So you want to go to the... See where it's Z up on the right with the straight?
Yes.
So move it a millimeter and see what happens.
Nothing.
Down?
No, nothing. It's doing nothing.
Are you connected? Yes.
Yeah.
Try moving the X and Y axis just a little bit.
That moves. That moves. That moves. I don't know why that... What's that doing?
That's your Z-axis that you're moving, or both the X and the Y?
I think it's both X and Y, maybe. Now Y, X doesn't do... Z doesn't do anything. It's just sitting there.
Okay, it might be a loose connection on one of those connectors.
Things. Okay. Right.
So there might be a part 3 that we can fix this in. And that's just splicing on a connector and then having a DuPont connector. And I can pick one of those out for you real quick here. Let me just find it. They make the wires by themselves. Which is your normal ordering platform when you buy parts?
Nothing. I don't buy anything, so whatever you think.
Yeah, so I'm going to pull up Amazon just because I have it someplace here where I bought it a while ago.
Yeah.
It's really cheap, or should be.
Go straight in.
But it's easily fixed.
Yeah. Okay, so these two middle ones.
What's the position of the two middle ones right now?
They were fine. 1, 2,
Okay, I'm getting close to where it is. Here we go. Oh crap, those are the ones I don't want. Let's see if we can find the ones with DuPont connectors on it. Let's see. DuPont.
Just try again.
Okay.
It's doing the Z home. I pressed Z home. Shit.
So is it moving?
Oh, yeah, the board thing's not doing.
What's that?
Nothing's happening with the board. Not a noise, not a motor, not anything.
Oh, so it's doing X and Y though.
Yeah, X and Y is fine.
Okay. So I found the connectors on the back side of your motor. Is there like a 6-pin thing that plugs into it?
No, I think it's a 4-pin. Oh yeah, 6.
It's a white connector with 6 pins on it.
White connector with 4 pins.
Okay.
Yeah, 4 on the motor. Yeah, on the Zen motor. Yeah.
So let me look at this cable real quick here. That one's for 6. Yeah, we don't want to do that. So what I was thinking is clipping off the front and clipping on this. But another way to check this, it's cheap before we do this, is an LED. So a light emitting diode. Let me pull that up. And this way we can actually confirm what we're working with. I want to see something if I can find one that's super cheap. But I'll show you what it looks like. All you need is one. They're about 30 cents. This is probably the easiest way to fix it. So I'm going to send you a link in 2 seconds so you can see what it looks like. And I'll show you how to use it on my side right now. But it's a great little tester. So let me pull up the chat. Hang on, I'm having trouble with my interface. Where's the expand? There it is. So go to that for a second. And let me expand this back out. And I'll show you what I'm going to do. I'm going to show you how it works so that you can actually do this. I'm going to do it with one of the printer cables in a second. Let me just find one. Of course, I don't have them on hand when I want them. But if you want to tell them about your game website first, or I'm sorry, your board game stuff for a second, I'll be right back.
I'll try and load up the chat as well, actually. I'll try my best to load that up. Here we go. 6 watches. Maybe just turn it all down. Has anybody got any ideas, like what we're trying to do? Does that make sense? Like reversing those pins? There's someone wrote 3 on the board, rotated EO connector. And that fixed the problem. Swapping to the pins. Stepper motor didn't do anything, instead of this caused the fault. from Indonesia. Where are we going? I'm really, yeah, it's a struggle, man. This is a struggle. This does not seem to want to work.
Okay.
I don't know why.
I can't find one right away, but I have an idea. I might have to show people a video. Let me just make sure I didn't stick it in here.
How do you spell DuPont?
DUPONT.
It's a DuPont connector.
Yeah, it's 4-pin. But
okay, I can get those really easily, like down the road.
yeah, but you can either plug it into that with the numerical sequence that you have of 1 through 4 and just slide them in, or you can change and crimp on the other ones, or you can splice them on. But they're like 10 cents a piece or something, and you only need 2. But I was going to show you the trick that I use with an LED to verify the positions, but if that's a quicker way to do it, we can go with that. And then I don't know if you want to do this Saturday or next week.
Yeah, maybe we could do tomorrow if we can start a tiny bit earlier. I can do that.
Yeah, I just have to stop by work and check on things. But yeah, what time did we start? 6 o'clock last time, or I think it was 6 o'clock last Saturday.
Yeah, just like an hour or so before would be great. I
Yeah.
won't have much time to spare.
So probably like 5 o'clock.
Yeah.
And then everyone else it's going to be Eastern Standard Time for me, and for you in Australia it's going to be,
I think it's EADT or something like that, like Australian something or other, Eastern Daytime or something. I don't know. I don't even know the time codes over here.
yeah, we have to do that in the US because we have 4 normal,
Yeah.
and then we've got, Hawaii time or something, so, and Alaska time.
Crazy to...
Yeah, Hawaii is like 9 hours difference from here, and well, it's closer to you guys.
Yeah.
And
pretty
then
much.
Alaska's, I think, 5 or 6 hours. I get them all confused. I haven't had to memorize them for a long time. Back when I worked at Xerox for network printers, I had to walk people through problems on different parts of the planet, and I didn't know who I was talking to and when it was. But that's a long time ago. Let me see if we got anybody in the chat that has some comments. Probably everybody's gone to sleep on us because we've been stuck on this one point. Actually, we have a lot more people. We doubled in size over the last hour. So essentially the problem right now for the people that just joined is that the pin positions, we wanted to fix it with software, and software is not working very well. So we were going to flip the connector. And so to avoid not knowing the order of the wires, we put tape on them with numerical numbers so that we could avoid getting them out of order. So it's a way to track what you're doing and try and reverse it later on. So the normal reverse that we were looking for was in VS Code, and VS Code apparently did not work, so we were going to flip the connector. So that's where we're stuck right now with materials. So we're going to try and continue it tomorrow at about 5 or 4 Eastern Standard Time. Or East Coast time, sorry. So
that's pretty much it.
So 5 o'clock p.m. my time, and that's like an hour earlier than the last time we did it. And then we'll see if we can get that sorted out, and then hopefully within that hour period we can get everything sorted out. Otherwise I'm probably going to have to move my car because it's Saturday.
Yeah, we'll try our best. We should be able to smash it out. We just got to get this thing moving, and then a few other little bits, right?
Yeah, then we got to get the sensor working correctly. So
Yeah.
these two are intertwined. But for someone was saying that it's 9 or 10 p.m. UTC time, which is Universal something. I don't remember all the abbreviations. Universal. Let's see. Coordinated Universal Time. So they're talking like Greenwich Mean.
Oh, okay.
So it might be UK time is the same. I can't remember. It's been forever and a day. I don't even know what time Zulu is.
Sure.
But I think that's... I know it's a language too, so I think it's African based for the time zone.
Yeah, I think you're right.
And then either China has 11 time zones, but it's all the same time. And Russia has 8 or 9. I don't remember.
Cool.
Yeah, so it's like 4 o'clock all the time in China in one place or all places. But if that works, I guess go with it.
We'll try our best. We'll try tomorrow. We'll see how we go here.
Yep.
All right, buddy. Well, I'll catch you later on.
Yeah. Sorry we didn't get a lot of success this time, but hopefully.
We were close. It's really close. It's just.
Well, we think we're close.
Happening.
There's still more to do.
Yeah, we'll get there.
But I think we went for how many? We went for 2.5 hours almost.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
That's
I don't.
Good.
I don't want to put the audience to sleep with other things.
Well, we'll try again at a later date. And see
Okay.
how we go.
So 5 o'clock tomorrow will be the stream time, or 4 o'clock. 4 o'clock. Well,
Something like that. We'll figure it out.
it'll be a pop-up, so you guys will see it. So if you have a chance, like and subscribe. That way you'll get messages. And also there's a Discord where we are right now chatting this out.
Yeah.
And several of you are already in there.
That's how I found Ed.
Yeah.
That's how I found you. So yeah, Discord's great. It's
Yeah.
a great tool, great place to talk and share ideas and figure some of these problems out. So.
Yeah, so everyone take care, be safe, and we'll meet up tomorrow.
Yeah.
All right, take care.
Gotcha. Bye.
Bye. I just turned off the stream, I think.
Yeah.
Hang on a second. Give me one more second.